Joining us now is Christina. Welcome to the show, Christina. How are you?
Good. How are you, Donna? I'm very happy
Very
to be
well.
here.
I want to pronounce the name of your company correctly, and I want to say it's Ierias Nama, but I know that you'll say it much better than I can do it. What is the correct pronunciation?
It's Ierias Nama. And
Beautiful.
in Greek, it translates as to the priestess flow. So,
What made you decide to start this brand? It's so exciting. I know that it has a background in Greece and it has all of this technology behind it. Tell us about your company.
it was something that was brewing along for many, many years. I was a big fan of clean skincare for a while, but there was something about skincare that, in the first place, had no efficacy, no results. And at the same time, there was an aspect regarding skincare that was ritual was missing in terms of I needed something more in terms of ritual. I felt everything I've tried was lacking that, and I wanted to create something that helps you connect with yourself in a way that's magical. So
So speaking of magical, so instead of routine, it is a ritual. It's almost like a spa, so that when you are
yeah.
applying the topical creams, you actually have a QR code that provides you with this experience. So describe to us
Mhm.
what happens and how that all works.
So basically, the whole concept is broken down into four stages. There are four stages we'll go through. It's a stage of release and detoxing, so it has a dual aspect. So the state of release and detoxing is a state of repair and harmonizing, a state of finding your glow once again, and a state of awakening at the same time, and then a state of maintaining that balance and finding extra nourishment while you're there. So basically, the whole concept, every single ingredient in our products, from the flower essences to the active ingredients to the aromatherapy, they're there with an intention. And so is the QR code that's in the back that corresponds to an activation. You can scan from the comfort of your home and have a real spa experience through the aromatic profiles, but at the same time be transported and connect with yourself through the different elements. It's like being in Greece from your couch with an experience of, so to say.
Years ago, I was
But
able
it
to go to
is,
Greece. I'm sorry,
yes,
what, Christina?
if you can go to Greece, that's your portal to being in Greece, essentially. So
Years ago, I won the Goddess Artemis Award from the Euro American Women's Council, and I was able to go to Greece for 2 weeks, and I loved every single minute of it. So when I was reading all about your company and doing all of the research, it did, just thinking about it, transported me there because there's something so magical about it. Whether you're on top of the mountain and you're feeling the breeze, or if you're at Mykonos and you feel like you can almost touch the stars, it is such a beautiful place and everything is fresh and the food is fresh every day. So I thought, well, gosh, they know a lot about skincare as well, and they know a lot about nourishing our soul. Does it take, because as you said, you created this for busy people, does it take longer to do a routine and transform it into a ritual? Or is it about the same amount of time?
good question. So basically, the QR codes correspond to activations that take you to the different elements, the five elements. And this is it's a 15-minute activation, and you don't need to do that every single day. You can do it once. And the whole concept is to create positive memory via scent and ritual. So all our scents are very, very tailored. They're there with an intention to bring you to a specific state of being. And through, for example, using a product, the mist, for example, and listening to the ritual once and staying in that presence, when you go back to that smell, you come back to the ritual. It's like creating an anchor between this aromatic profile, because both scent and ritual, they work within the same parts of our brain, essentially. So they come together. So yeah.
And what are the
So
five?
yeah.
What are those five categories? Because I noticed that also, and those were very informative. What are those?
Yeah, so we have catharsis. There are four categories. So we have catharsis, and here we have, for example, our mist, which corresponds to the element of earth. So when you smell that, you will feel that it grounds you right away, it centers you. Every single ingredient has an intention. It's not there just to be pretty, but it's very pretty. So it's there to bring you to a state of being. And this is a sense of protection for your skin. So it's antioxidant. It protects your magnetic fields, your aura, from pollution, like pollutants, external pollutants, but at the same time, staying in front of your laptop for too long, it helps clear that out. And then we have a state of repair, which is a harmonizing state. And there we have our oxytocin boosting serum. So this is the dewy nectar serum that smells like jasmine. It brings you back to that sweetness of life. So it gives you back, it's repairing. It's great for skin that's sensitive as well. Everything has been tested for sensitive skin. And then it's almost like being sick, if you want to see that, like releasing toxins from your body through the first category, earth, and then repairing, water. And then that's when the game starts, essentially, for us women. So this is the goddess part. You mentioned the goddess award you won. So
Yes.
This is our goddess balm. It's been sold out, and it's coming back soon. It's a balm cream, and this is all about awakening and bringing you into a state of purpose, of passion, of ignition, whatever that means to you. So it has that capacity to ignite. And this is the element of fire and air. And then we have ecstasies, which is the fourth. The third part is genesis. I didn't mention that, but it's all about giving birth to new things, igniting. And then it's ecstasies, which is all about nurturing and space. It's about ether. So ether corresponds to space, and space corresponds to spirit, which essentially means what do you fill your space, the space you've created through the other steps with. And so the activation in here, for example, is an activation that connects you with gratitude for your being, for just your five senses, for just being here and feeling lucky for being alive, for starters. So,
Well, Christina, thank you so much. And where can people get all of your different products, the whole line, if they wanted to get a whole package of things?
Through our online store for now.
Okay.
And yes, and
And
that's where we're
each product does come with a QR code to give it a little more of a ritual, a spa experience. Yes. Okay, great.
It's an amazing tool. It's a mix of, it's an audio activation. It's like guided meditation, but with sound therapy, affirmations. We have bracelets that go with our products, so you can be reminded. It's a system of care. It's skincare as a medium that helps you have amazing skin through all the active ingredients, being high efficacy, but at the same time, bringing you into a space where you find serenity and you explore a different kind of beauty that's deeper and lasting.
Christina, thank you so much. It was a joy to have you here, and I actually feel even more relaxed just by our conversation. Happy journeys to you and be well. Up next, I'm talking with Donna La Scala, all about divorce. Joining us now is Donna La Scala. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much. Well, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, I have this affinity for you because I used to have the same name when I was married to my husband, Tom, who sadly passed away. But every time you sit next to me, I just have this beautiful feeling of joy toward you.
Aww.
We've been friends now for a really long time.
We have.
You are so good at what you do. Divorce mediation, it seems like they would say like 50-50 divorce rate. Is it still about the same, or is it a little higher, lower right now? Like, what's the stats?
It's changing, but it's changing demographically in age groups.
Interesting.
So if you think about it, the younger generation is waiting, longer to get married, and sometimes not even getting married. So their divorce rate has dropped, only because statistically there's less of them married. The highest rate of growth of divorce is in our age range.
The gray divorces.
The gray divorce, the silver divorce, however you want to call it. But it's the older people that have been married 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years that are getting divorced. And everybody says, well, why? Why is that happening? Well, because age, lifespan is longer. So if you're 55 years old and you've got another 30 years to live, you might want to reconsider who you're living those 30 years with.
Right.
So that's kind of what's happening. But also, life changes and things happen, and people are just not happy with where they are and who they're with, and they decide to make a change, and it's really life-altering.
One of the things that you suggest is that they get help with finances right away from the get-go to try to stay
Absolutely.
out of court.
Right. So not only to stay out of court, but to stop making mistakes.
Okay.
So as a CDFA, Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, my role in any divorce is either at the beginning, in the middle, or towards the end to really help people make sense of what they have, what they don't have, how it works, what should be divided, what should never be divided, and how those things actually mechanically work, as well as what happens after.
Okay. And is that on a state-by-state basis? Like New York is a 50-50 state, but it's not really because, Connecticut is a 50-50, but it's not really. All right. So what does all that mean, state by state?
So the terminology we use is either community property or equitable distribution. And it takes me several times to explain to somebody that equitable does not mean equal.
Okay.
So there's really very few things that are divided 50-50 because it's really up to the circumstances of the couple. If they were married very young, it's likely that they didn't have a long time to accumulate retirement assets earlier on prior to the marriage. So that's one thing that has to be taken into consideration. Some people come into the marriage with property, whether it's real property or investments. They come into the marriage with stuff. So how do you actually account for that stuff? And then the people that are getting divorced and families, are there young children? Are there teenage children? Are there adult children? Who's responsible for whom? Who's responsible for what? And how does that look after the divorce is actually finalized? Because when you go through the court system, they don't really care about anything other than getting that piece of paper signed. And once it's signed, they're really pretty much done.
Okay.
Unless you, as the party that's wronged, come back to them and say, hey, wait a minute, that didn't actually work the way I thought it was going to work, so let's reopen this. So that's done. But for the most part, you sign that piece of paper, sayonara, you're gone, you're done, they're no longer involved. So who's actually going to be there telling you, okay, well, now you got, $100,000 of this and $500,000 of that. What do you do with it?
Sure.
And how do you make it work in your particular situation? And that's really what it's all about.
And you're able to help them. So you help them from the
Absolutely.
beginning, middle, and then a little bit afterwards.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
a wrap up.
Yeah, but also, this is your new normal. Here's your path. This is the way it's going to work. But I also tell people, plan for the immediate,
Okay.
what's right in front of you. Plan for the short term, maybe 6 months to a year. Plan for the intermediate, 3 to 5 years maybe. Plan for the long term, because things change. How old are your kids? Where are you living? Do you still need to live there after your kids are out of the school system?
Correct. You could move.
Are you in a 6-bedroom house and now you're only one person? So there are things to consider that change. And it's a puzzle. It's a
Okay.
puzzle. And how do those pieces fit together for you? Not your neighbor, not your brother's, plumber's, wife's, cousin.
And that's the biggest mistake, correct, Donna? If I'm right, you've
Yes.
shared that with me before. People get divorced, but they're asking for 40 different opinions instead of just going straight to the professional to begin with.
Well, it's easy when you're getting divorced to try to get information. But you have to be very careful about where you're getting the information from, who you're getting the information from. And what we really tell clients because I work with mediators and I work with collaboratively trained professionals like myself, attorneys, financial professionals, mental health professionals. Putting together the right team is the biggest way to avoid making mistakes because you don't know. You haven't been through it. And talking to your friends, they all have an opinion. I remember when I went through my own divorce, my best friend would say to me, "So what happened today?" "Nothing." Right. And she would say, "What do you mean nothing? How could it be nothing? You were in court for 5 hours." Nothing happened. So nobody really knows unless they're in it or they've been through it. So putting together the right team of professionals is huge. It's your first line of defense because, you know, the best defense is a good offense. So you really need to be prepared. So having the right attorney, having a mental health professional, having a financial professional. If you have a business, having a forensic CPA. All of these different types of people help you in different ways. And I mean, honestly, most people who go through divorce go to those people anyway.
Right.
So putting together the team at the very beginning is
Makes all
a
the difference.
huge deal. It does. It
And
makes a huge difference.
Before we wrap up, what about a prenup? Does a prenup help at all?
It
A little
can.
bit? Okay.
It can, but it's also very crucial as to how it was crafted.
Okay.
Because one of the biggest mistakes that are made in divorce is not being specific enough. I sit on a lot of boards of organizations that deal with divorce. And a lot of times we get judges that come in and speak to us, and they will always say, "Please, we beg you, be as specific as possible." Because if you leave things very open-ended, which sounds like a good idea because you kind of don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now, but the more specific you are, the better it is. And the better the language is, you're going to be more protected. So a prenup will work if it was crafted in the right way with the right language to take care of what it needs to take care of. We're also seeing a lot of post-nups. During a marriage, if you think things might not be going exactly the way you thought it
It's
would,
a pre-divorce.
get a post-nup. It sort of gives you the roadmap of what could happen if.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us once again, Donna La Scala. You're lovely. I know that you've helped a lot of people, so continued success to you on your journey.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
So if you need advice from anywhere all over the world and you just want to make a call, reach out to Donna La Scala, and if she can't help you, she'll put you in the right direction. And we wish you pleasant relationships, no matter where, if you're in one, you're out of one, you're getting into a new one, whatever the case may be, or just a relationship with yourself, that it's pleasant. Be well. Do we ever really learn the value of money? Joining us now is Sequoia Clay, and she is the inventor of Net Worth Up. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you again. We met in Chicago,
Yes.
and it was because of your brightness, your boldness, your tenacity, your amazing game. So tell us about Net Worth Up.
Yeah, so Net Worth Up essentially is if Monopoly and Uno had a baby.
Okay.
So what I wanted to do is provide a game that was like Monopoly, learning about finances, but also really quick. So you can play it with your friends, you can play it with family in less than 2 minutes. So the goal of the game is you start in the game with 5 cards in your hand, and you're wanting to switch out your liability cards, which are red, which are bad for you, for green asset cards, which are obviously good for you. And the player who believes they have the highest points, AKA net worth, ends the game and reveal their hand. And the players, everyone has to reveal their hand, and whoever has the highest points wins the game.
Now, what is the maximum amount of points you can have? If you've got 5 cards,
Yes.
and what's the highest point value that you can have?
Yeah, so I mirrored based off of the balance sheet.
Okay.
So the highest you can have are current assets. So that's a category. And if you have 3 or more of the same category cards, those points double.
Really?
So the points go from -4 to +4. So it's very easy to count.
Okay.
Young kids can play, and they were playing a lot at the POP conference in Chicago. So it was
Yes,
great.
the people of play. So that's how we got a chance to meet. It was such a wonderful experience for me because we were there for Toys of Our Lives, and I got a chance to see you, and I was like, who are you? I want to know more about you. And all of a sudden, because you are so good at branding with that beautiful bright color, all of a sudden I saw you walking with your suitcase, and it had like this little sticker, and it's like, Sequoia, Sequoia. Actually, I said, net worth, net worth. I want to know you, I want to know you. It was because I didn't even know your name at the time, Sequoia, but I just knew about Net Worth Up. So this game is, a lot of people are backing you, right? Your college friends, people are believing in you. You said that your mom is one of your biggest believers, right?
Yes.
My mom was always my biggest fan too. So Miss Clay, when we open this deck up, right? So
Yes.
how many cards are in your deck?
So 52s, very
Okay.
similar to a standard set of poker cards.
Okay, gotcha. And then what we're looking for is the red or bad.
Yes.
And then there's some skips in here.
Yep.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So Monopoly, because you want to have a Monopoly would be 3 of the assets of a kind because that's where you're going to get double.
Exactly. So it's the
Okay.
highest points you can have 5 sets of current assets, which double to 40 points.
Who taught you about money? How'd you learn about money?
Funny you ask that. I feel like it's a little bit of a mixture of me just seeking out the information because I lacked it, and I actually was scammed my freshman year of college.
You were scammed your freshman year of college? What happened?
Yes. So unfortunately, there was a booth that wasn't supposed to be on campus
Okay.
during homecoming. And what they advertised is paying $2,000. You just had to be a student to qualify.
Okay.
So obviously, me being brokey at the time, I
Right.
was like, let's see what's going on here. I'm interested in knowing how I can get this $2,000. So what they did was my taxes. So they asked for my social security number.
Oh.
So I provided it because I didn't have any idea what the significance of it is to
Yeah.
not just give it to anyone.
Right.
So what they did was my taxes, and there is a student credit that the government allowed $2,000 extra dollars, and it's mainly used for parents who are supporting you through school. And I didn't have a job, so it took them maybe less than 5 minutes to do my tax return.
Right,
and
they
actually-
charged you
and they
$2,000.
but they charged me $600, so I only
Okay.
got $400 back from that tax credit.
Interesting.
So I was scammed. My mom was notified, and she let
Okay.
me know the importance of it at
Right.
that end. So I was like
Okay.
a little embarrassed, but I wanted to know how to be an adult. So
Right.
I reached out to some people. Spellman obviously didn't have anything to do with it. They apologized, but then it connected me to a resource, and his name is Rob Batiste. And he actually was creating a curriculum to go to different campuses to teach budgeting, how to invest, and how to save. And so I reached out to him, and he was very happy to see if I was interested in putting it on our campus. So I started our first financial literacy club back in 2012.
And there you go. And that's
Yeah.
how this was born in a way, right?
Yes.
So this one says real estate. It says land and buildings. This is really interesting. Goodwill. Okay, so you get a point if you're doing something that helps reputation or brand value. Patents. If you have a patent, you get a point. This is fun. Trademarks, you get a point. Copyrights, I have to read trademark. No, I'm just joking. And the red ones are bad.
Yes,
Right.
and they explain current liabilities, what those mean, and mortgage payables. So you basically have a flashcard in front of you.
Right.
So the older children, let's say maybe college level, they're an accounting major. This is a very great introduction to the balance sheet. But even for young kids, it really is just more so of a mind, creating that mindset of liabilities are bad. What can be a liability in your life, So it's the thought-provoking thing for
An
the
ex-best
younger.
friend? No, I'm
Yes.
just joking.
It's a great way for families to kind of start to connect those dots.
Okay,
Just
and you have
Monopoly.
a QR code. You have a QR code on the back.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so tell us about that. What will that lead us to?
So that'll lead to my website. So that's what I currently sell this product on.
Okay,
So it's networthup.com.
great. And you are having some meetings with some big box stores, right?
Yes.
Are you taking more and more meetings?
I am. So I'm very interested in either getting into Target's accelerator program. Walmart also has a program. So my background is in retail. I worked at Home Depot for about 4 years.
What department?
In online merchandising. So
Okay.
everything online. We helped with the suppliers building up their e-commerce presence. So very, very familiar with the space, but not necessarily in now the toy and games industry. So I'm tapping
Okay.
into that now.
So if this were a hammer,
I can sell that really.
There you go. So let's just pretend, okay? It's the same. Just replace it with this. So take all of your knowledge and just make this your next hammer.
Yes.
This is really fun. It was fun to play. It was fun in Chicago to be with you and to celebrate that with you. And you're someone that puts your thought into action. So that alone, Sequoia Clay, is worth a lot. That is an asset. This is your asset. This is your baby, right? So what has the response been from some of your teammates? Are they like buying it as stocking stuffers, and are people playing, and are you having clubs?
Yes, no, I do think now, because I did I'll say my own version of a press run.
Okay.
So there were a lot of conferences, one being the POP conference, and I recently went to Afrotech in Houston. So with these big events, a lot of people, I tend to want to connect with people by playing the game and seeing how they take to it. So it was a really great response at Afrotech. There was actually a pitch element to it. So that was a way for me to, again, pitch to big, large crowds, get them excited about the game, especially people that miss playing Monopoly. It's a long game.
Right.
People tend not to have the time anymore to play that. So this is like a good meet in the middle for people to have that have short attention spans to play and then actually get educated. So I'll say that it's, yeah.
I saw some of your social media from that, and I knew you were killing it. I just knew it. I said, oh, they're going to just love her. They're just loving this. So congratulations on
Thank
all your
you.
success. Thank you for traveling up here to be on the show, because we could have done it via the Skype or via the phone, but this was nice. It was nice to see you again in person.
Yes.
And I hope you'll stay. Like, we have snacks, we have food, and hope you'll stay.
love the snack.
You love the snack. I love the snacks too. Happiness to you. It was really, congratulations.
Thank you
yes,
so
and
much.
keep shining, keep glowing. So net worth up. That's really all you need to know. Net Worth Up by Sequoia Clay, the inventor of this really cool game. It smells so good. With this food, I wish we had smell-o-vision. Joining us now are Bobby and David, and we're going to be talking about food from Vincent's Clam Bar. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you?
Pleasure, Don. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
So I've been to your place, but this is your first time at my place.
Yes.
Right? So thank you for all you do. 42 years, that's quite a history.
Yeah, it's a
Tell us how
crazy,
that- tell us how
crazy
that
run.
started.
It's hard to understand when you actually say it back to me.
Right.
But it's been 42 years, and it feels like it went in a flash. You know, very, very, very quick. You know, amazing.
What's important in becoming a successful restaurateur? It's not easy. People open the doors, they close them all the time.
Yes.
What has been your secret to success?
I think it's consistency.
Okay.
It's consistency and having a real message, something that you want to convey to your guest above and beyond just food. You know, I tell people we're not just in the food business, we're in the happiness business. And we try to actually make every guest, if we possibly can, happy. So to the greatest, that's exactly how we do it.
Yeah, truly, the whole entire atmosphere, the experience that people have, it's lovely from the moment you walk through the threshold of the restaurant till, you say goodnight at
I think
home.
we've created an experiential restaurant.
Oh, it's true.
So from the moment you walk in the door, we try to take over, everything you're going to think and see and want to do and try to encompass a real Italian-American Little Italy restaurant here on Long Island.
Now, Chef David, from behind the scenes, so from the front of the house to the back of the house, what's it like in the kitchen?
It's sometimes manic, but we put everything together so consistently. There's so much energy going on in the kitchen. Our volume is so much, and we just seem to handle it really, really well with consistent product. Somebody could come on Monday for a chicken parmesan,
Right.
and come back 3 months later and have the same exact chicken parmesan.
That's really important, isn't it? Don't you find that because somebody has something that they really liked and they want to order it, they're expecting it to be the same.
Right, so consistency and continuity are really important. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to different restaurants and had an amazing meal, gone back and had an okay meal.
Okay.
And then what happened, I don't understand from here to there. Somehow because we have a series of repeatable recipes and systems in place, we're able to create the same experience over and over and over every time.
And speaking of that, what did you bring us this special dish? This is one of your holiday specialties, right?
So for the month of December, we celebrate the Feast of the Seven Fishes. Obviously a great Italian-American tradition that derives from the whole idea of the seven sacraments, the creation of the universe, the 7 days it took to do that. But a true Italian-American tradition brought here with the Italian immigration in the 1900s.
Lovely. So
Yeah.
Chef, what's in this dish?
We have Prince Edward Island mussels, we have shrimp, we have calamari, we have scungili, we have snapper, and we have scallops.
Now, celebrations happen all the time. right, at Vincent's Clam Bar. Whether it's like, somebody getting engaged or somebody celebrating something or first dates.
Birthdays.
I know, birthdays.
Yeah.
I know when somebody wants to impress somebody, they're bringing them to your place.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me, I'm ready to try this. So what should we try, David? So do you want to come over here and help me?
Absolutely.
Because I'm not so good at plating it up, and I would probably end up with it on me. Okay,
Yeah.
but what is the proper way to eat something like this? Should you try something first? Is there an order to
Well,
doing it?
There's pasta underneath.
Okay,
So we would try to get a little bit of the pasta on your plate first to taste.
okay. Woo, that was me, my fault, sorry. Through the magic of television, we're putting pasta on my plate.
Okay,
Okay,
a little pasta.
Lovely.
And we get a clam.
okay,
We get a mussel.
lovely,
We get a scallop or two.
nice,
We get a little shrimp, a
Okay.
little scungili, a little calamari,
lovely,
and let's go for another mussel,
pretty,
and then a little bit of a garnish.
lovely. Thank you so much, Chef.
You're welcome.
Okay, so before I taste this, Bobby, are you also going to plate something up? Or are you going to have
I'm good.
You're just
Yeah,
gonna let me
I'm
go
good.
for it?
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah, but I appreciate it.
So no matter what time of year somebody comes, there's always at least one or two special things that you're adding to the menu, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So who decides that? Do you sit down on a Monday and say, okay, you do, okay, the two of
Yeah.
you together, Bobby
Yeah.
and David? Okay, so
Well-
what are those conversations like? I'm going to let you talk while I try this.
They could get a little hectic.
Okay.
Everybody kind of fights for their own, position. Who wants to do what they want to do this month, this week? But we've pretty much got it down to a science now. Where we know, let's say, in September we're going to celebrate San Gennaro. In October we're going to do Italian month. In December we're going to do Feast of the Seven Fishes. So a lot of it's kind of preset already.
Okay.
And then we just work our way through it and try to figure out ways to make it better every year if we can.
This is really delicious, something for someone to look forward to. And
Yeah.
the sauce is always consistent.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
know you're not going to give your
I think
secret,
that's one of the
but-
things that makes us different from everyone else. We have 3 proprietary sauces, our mild, medium, and hot sauces that are unique to us, at least on Long Island.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's one of the,
And people are
one of the
able to
special
get
things.
that, right? It's like
Yeah.
somebody comes into the restaurant too, can they just order a side of sauce and?
Yeah, well, we actually make it in jars for supermarkets now.
Yes.
So, we're out there in the tri-state area, and we're doing a pretty good job with it.
You're doing a very good job with it.
Yeah.
You know why? Because even as a shopper, when I'm able to go and I'm having company, you just always make me look really good, right? So, 'cause sometimes I like to make my sauce from scratch, but sometimes I'm like, okay, Vincent's made it from scratch. It's good enough for me, right?
Well, appreciate you giving us credit. A lot of
No.
people don't.
Really?
A lot of people use our
No,
sauce and then say it was theirs.
It's
But yeah.
delicious.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
When someone wants to open up a restaurant, and like, what would you say would be the good first step before, like, save them from maybe some of the big mistakes people make? What advice would you
One
give?
of the great things I try to tell people, especially young people, is differential advantage.
Okay.
What are you going to do differently in your restaurant that's going to give you advantage? What are the things that are going to make you unique and make that person pass the other 100 restaurants kind of like yours to come to yours? And that's the biggest part of it. And if they can't answer that question, then I'll tell them you have to stop and rethink everything.
Okay.
It's not easy. It's not just open the doors and people will come. It doesn't
Right.
work like that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's location, it's menu, it's ambiance,
So
it's the
I like to
staff.
say it's product,
Okay.
price, portion, and performance.
Oh, the
If you
four
give them a
Ps.
great product,
Right.
you give them a great price, you give them a great portion, and you give them a great performance. And that'll all come together. If you do 3 out of the 4, you'll still be successful.
There you go.
But if you do all 4, you'll be a hit.
This makes me want to sing, talking about a hit. This is definitely a hit. So, David, thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank
Bobby,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
Like
you.
I said, I come from a restaurant family. My grandfather was a chef, and his brother Emil, so Ronaldo and Emil, their last name was Campana, and they had this beautiful space, and it was the place where everybody would go. And I know everybody goes to Vincent's, so thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
again.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated.
And whenever you're watching this, whether it's for the holiday season or maybe you're watching it in June or July, just know that the food there is always consistently excellent. And we wish you a very happy journey. My first play I was ever in was Bus Stop when I was in 3rd grade. Stay tuned, we're going to be talking about live theater. Joining us now is Christopher, and we're going to be talking about live theater. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
What is the importance of the arts to you?
I work with kids between the ages of 5 and 18, and the confidence that they get from being on stage, being in a group and a really positive environment that encourages them to be themselves, encourages them to be a little silly, encourages them to have fun and not be self-conscious. It has changed the way that I teach, and it has changed a lot of kids in their lives. So it's the most important to me.
And how about you? When did you discover theater? Who was your favorite acting coach along the way, or who made a difference for you?
I actually started as a dancer when I
Okay.
was 10. I wanted to be a solid gold dancer. And so I used to practice in front of a mirrored window in my house. And my mom saw that I liked that more than going to soccer practice. So she put me into tap dance lessons.
Good for your mom.
Yeah, it was great. She's my biggest fan and my biggest supporter still.
That's fantastic. Now, one of the companies is called Jazz Hands, right? And I was saying I love that, and I do that all the time.
Right.
That's my joy move. you
Yeah,
know?
me too.
So I do that, and I also do touchdown. Anyway, but yes, I love my Jazz Hands. So when you were coming up as a young child and you discovered dance, and that kind of resonated with you, and so as an adult, you decided you wanted to now mentor others.
Yeah, I was a professional actor for many years, and my mother is a teacher, and I always taught. I did children's theater tours when I was in college, and when I got to a certain age, my daughter was about 6 or 7, and I thought, I think it's time for me to get Jazz Hands really going and start teaching the skills that I've learned throughout the years, and
Lovely.
and be home more. It was
Now, did she
important.
want to participate as well? your
She
daughter?
participated for a long time, mostly because she had to come to work with me.
Right. Bring your child. My
yes.
kids too.
And I think she enjoyed it. And then at a certain age, around middle school, she was done performing, but she still runs the light board in all of my Jazz Hand shows. So
Oh,
she's
that's
always there and
wonderful.
involved.
Now, the theater that you're working at has a beautiful story. Can you tell us about that in the community?
So we just signed a lease for a space in downtown Glen Cove. I also am the artistic director and founder of the North Shore Village Theater, which is a community theater for everybody. And we're really excited to be building this performance space and this theater space right in downtown and really make Glen Cove a regional destination.
Are you doing original works? Are you doing works that you're I guess licensing?
Yes, correct. We're going to be doing all of it. We're just doing Steel Magnolias in the spring. It's going to be our opening the theater production. My kids are doing Descendants and Legally Blonde right now. We're doing Beetlejuice in the spring. And we're also going to be developing one-act play festivals. There's a lot of playwrights in our area that we want to feature and bring in and create. And there's so many talented people on the North Shore and beyond. We're going to have so much to do. It's going to be great.
Now, in all the countries, so our show is in 25 countries all over the world and coast to coast. How would one go about setting up their own theater group in their community? Where could someone start, Christopher? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I started by inviting people from Facebook to my house to talk about opening a theater.
Okay.
I had friends, as I was doing Jazz Hands, I remember I was backstage with my friend Maggie, who is on our board now, and her daughters were in the show, and she was doing their hair and the makeup and helping with costumes, and we looked at each other, and she said, we need to have a theater. And so we just invited a group of people, and that's how it started.
Mickey Rooney putting on a show. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
So you're just saying just grassroots, just implement something into action.
Right. I've been talking a lot about this. I actually mentioned it earlier, is that I don't live in a world of what ifs anymore, because it creates self-doubt and procrastination, and you question yourself. So I just do. And when you do, it may not work out, but it's not a fail because you're trying. And I think that's great advice for whatever you're working on.
Yeah, just put something into action.
Just do it.
I
Yeah.
came up with this. I'm getting really personal here.
No, I love it.
Audience, I'm gonna announce something right here and now, just because Christopher so inspired me. So I'm sitting the other day at the dining room table, and I'm hanging up ornaments that Christopher Radko had given me from Heartfully Yours, and I'm hanging these up, and I said to myself, I was like, and I decided finally, after all these years, I'm actually going to write the book. So I have these Live It Up tips of the day that I've been doing for years, since probably 2018. Christopher, and I sat down and I said, now's the moment.
Yeah.
Now is the moment. Because if not now, when?
When,
Right.
right.
So I hope, just like you, that we just are in the doing phase of our lives
Mm-hmm.
and not in the what if or could I or should I, but in the just do it.
Right.
So I thank you for being here. I've gotten a chance to read about your wonderful theater and
Thank you
the
so
things
much.
that you're doing, and I celebrate you because for me, there's nothing better than that. I love to go see a live performance, whether it's music, dance, theater. I love acting. So we're gonna have a good time together over the years.
We will. I
So
think I hope you'll come to our opening night on April 4th.
I would be honored.
Be a
I
nice
absolutely
party
will
and a show.
be there. And I hope that our conversation between Christopher and I inspired you to create your reality through your dreams. You could do it. Just take action. Maybe it's a baby step, maybe it's a giant leap. I believe in you. Thank you for watching. And, go see live theater. Create your own stories. Just make it happen. And thank you for watching. My first play I was ever in was Bus Stop when I was in 3rd grade. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about live theater. Well, I'm sure you may have seen my next guest because she is famous. With us now is Alex. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Look at you for building this brand as an influencer while having a full-time job
Yes.
in a law firm.
Yes.
Okay, so you have 2 full-time jobs.
Yes.
Do you like them both equally well?
I love both of them. I won't give either one up.
Okay.
One is like my corporate setting during the day, and then one is like I make my own hours. I just enjoy doing it.
What started that for you, Alex? What started you like offering items and working with Poshmark and everything? What started that? What was your first
So,
item?
It started with a snowstorm. My
Okay.
parents were moving and I needed to start cleaning out my closet. So I started listing my own items and I was selling like 4 or 5 things a day. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I started ripping apart my closet, seeing what else I can get rid of. And it just kind of snowballed into a hobby. And then that kind of snowballed into a second full-time job.
Now, when did you realize that you were pretty good at, like, was it writing the descriptions? Was it the pictures you took? What do you feel made your site more successful than others?
I don't know if it was the descriptions. I think it was more the item, because once people hear that, oh, this person's a reseller, they start pulling things out. And me as a reseller, I'm like, that has a really bad resale value. So I think
Okay.
I kind of know what products to put on my website, and that's why I'm like super successful with that.
This holds its value.
Yes.
Right. Even with like a North Face, I didn't know this, but North Face has a lifetime guarantee.
Oh my God, yes.
Right?
You list a North Face, 5
Boom.
minutes, it's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what has been one of the most interesting things that you've listed?
This is hard. I had a real fur, like vintage coat that I really didn't know anything about, and I got it appraised, and it was worth like $12,500.
My goodness.
And I got it for like, I don't know, $10 at a thrift store a few years ago.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're good. You're good at seeing quality and then like spinning it into
Yeah,
profit.
and that had no brand. I just liked how it looked, and I was like, all right, I'll research it. And little did I know it was my most expensive item I have now.
Fun. Now, when people ever send you pictures of them wearing something that they got from you?
All the time.
They love that feedback with you.
Yeah. So my social media has blown up with my customers. They all started following me. They will send me photos and tag me on their story of the items that they're wearing from me, and I enjoy seeing that.
You also get to work with some celebrity items.
Yes.
Okay, tell us about that, because that sounds like really fun.
Okay, first of all, I have a Sephora in my basement. Okay. The amount of makeup that they give me to sell is not normal. A ton of athletic items. I also have like a Saks Fifth Avenue in my living room. So many, I love going through everything. There's so many amazing products that they give me, and it's really hard not to keep them.
Now, what's your turn? I know this is, I was going to ask you that off camera, Alex. I was
Yeah.
going to say, is there one item that you said, you know what, I'm buying this for myself?
I
It's
almost
okay.
did.
Okay.
I almost did. I go to a lot of weddings,
Right.
and I always get a lot of gowns, and like you can't wear the same gown to a wedding.
Correct.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep this one, and then I ended up, of course, buying something instead.
Speaking of weddings, you recently got engaged.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you.
How did they ask you to get married?
So my fiance's name is Jeff. He is an attorney at the law firm I work at. And we went on vacation. He told me we would never get engaged on vacation.
Okay.
So he was rushing me to get ready, and he told me that dinner was on the beach. So we're walking down the beach, and I was like, where is this restaurant? Like, we're about to walk into someone's engagement. And
Right.
he turned to me and he said, remember when I told you we weren't going to get engaged on vacation? And I started hysterical crying. He had a photographer. He's the
Romance.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, romance. And I think that's maybe what makes your site so successful too, is that you have a lot of like items that just make people feel good when they purchase them.
Yeah.
Somebody can re-love these products.
Right. And some people will be like, I have a bridal shower. Like, can you get this to me? And I'm like, yes. Well, I actually don't like that for a bridal shower. Maybe you should buy this instead. And they'll listen
Good
to me.
for you.
Yeah.
So you're really caring about your clientele and you're making a difference.
Yeah,
for
I'm like
them.
dressing
they're
them.
Personal shopper.
Yeah.
I love that.
great.
And so what are your intentions? You just want to keep, I guess, just doing what you're doing, but
Yeah. I get new clients all the time. Obviously, I like to have the celebrity clients because they have the best stuff. But
Okay.
my goal is to grow this bigger, and eventually, I have an LLC, but I eventually want to hire employees to help me because I feel like I can grow it into a huge market. I mean, everyone has something to sell.
right. I think you're right. And I think that you're very likable. And like I said,
Thank you.
People even from our own team, you know, somebody here went to high school with you, and we'll just give them a little shout out, but like Evan and Jenna both knew you.
Yes, love
And so they were all excited. They're like, Alex is coming on the show. But thank you for joining us. We wish
Of
you
course.
the happiest of holiday
Thank
seasons.
you, too.
And so somebody can go and like shop your
Yeah.
site right away.
My
Excellent.
name on there is Alex P. Mahl.
Okay. Can't wait. I might be doing a little holiday shopping myself.
yes.
So thank you so much, Alex.
course.
Continued joy in your journey.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. There you go. Entrepreneurial spirit, right? If you have that feeling in your heart that you just are a person that is like high energy and you just want to go for it, just do it. Alex and I have, and we wish you all the best. Thanks for watching. Joining us now is April, and she is with Rump Refresh. Welcome to the show, April. How are you?
Good. I'm doing fantastic, Donna. How are you?
I'm doing well. When I first heard of your brand, I wasn't sure if it was a people brand or a pet brand, right? Because I'm like, I've got a rump. So Rump Refresh, what a charming name for a company. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So, Rumper Fresh is a dog leash attachment and pet wipe and poop bag subscription company. The main aim of our company is to provide an extra way of having a daily task of walking your dog or grooming a dog or any other activities as a pet professional a lot more easier.
So we used to have a dog walker on our staff, not to just walk our dogs, but she worked part-time with us and she was also a dog walker. And I thought about you and I thought this product would be absolutely great for her as a pet professional also. So tell us what's in the package. What do you get?
So with the purchase of a Rumper Fresh leash attachment, you receive your leash attachment. You could either use our leash attachment that we have with your current leash, or if you prefer, you can use our leash that will come with the leash attachment. Our leash is a little bit tighter as far as the ability for your dog to kind of maneuver around. So if you prefer to use a leash that has a lot more lead time, you're more than welcome to connect our leash attachment to your current leash. But you would get your leash attachment, you would get your leash, and you would get a 30-day supply of pet-friendly wet wipes. Of course, I live in the northeastern part of the United States, so around this time we have a lot of snow, we have a lot of sleet, dirt, and salt. So with pet wipes, it makes it easier to take care of your pup's paws after your daily walks, or if they get wet, or if they have a little bit of a messier situation than they normally would. That's where our pet wipes will come into play. So you get a 30-day supply of those, as well as you get a 30-day supply of poop bags.
Okay. And it all fits like in a pouch, right? It's like a wearable kind of coordinated situation.
Yeah, it's kind of like one size fits all. However you would need to use it for your personal routine, it's up to you to use. If you prefer to not have anything in your hand but the leash, you can connect the leash attachment to your dog's collar or their harness. If you do prefer to use our handle that comes on our leash attachment, you can do that. I have had friends and customers use it as a hands-free device where they would connect the handle because it disconnects. So they would use that and connect it to like their belt loop so that they didn't have to use their hands while they were walking their dog. I've had people fashion it as sort of a fanny pack. I've had people fashion it as a crossover. So there's so many different ways that an individual can use it for their particular circumstances. And that's the whole convenience of our product.
Now, as a pet product professional, what would you suggest to other people that have great pet ideas? How does an entrepreneur like yourself bring something like this that's so special and unique actually to the market? You know, what are some of the steps that you had to take just to inspire them, maybe if they have the same type of wonderment about making the pet parenting a better situation?
My suggestion is to take every idea and see whether it can work. The way I came about with this whole idea, I was not, thinking about going the route of creating any type of pet product. But I remember I was coming home from a doctor's appointment and I was at a light and I just happened to look over at a woman who was walking her dog and there was a look of frustration on her face. She had the dog leash in one hand, she had a plastic bag in the other. That particular day it was raining. So she was like flustered trying to do everything, pick up the waist, hold the leash. And I was just kind of like, there's got to be something that's more convenient for, a daily task, something that you're doing every day. And so I said, let's do some research. And that's kind of where it started.
There you go. So just start with a great idea, do a little research, and bring it to fruition. Congratulations. How do most people acquire your product? Is it through your website or through a local retailer?
So actually, locally, if you are interested in purchasing our product, we are currently being sold in the PetWise pet store that's located here in Clay, New York. The other option is you could purchase on our website where you can purchase the leash attachment with the 30-day supply of pet wipes and waste bags. If you're interested in our subscription program, you can sign up on our website directly as well. Or if you are more of an Amazon shopper like I am, we are available on Amazon.
Lovely. Congratulations to you, April. Thank you very much for joining us. Like I said, just the product name alone delighted me. I was like, well, this is fun. I'm like, what is Rump Refresh? And in the research, I realized how much hard work you have put into this. So congratulations on this success, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Donna. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
It was a joy to have you on. We have a lot of pet parents that are interested in these great products, so I'm happy to bring it to them. Be well. Joining us now is Lisa, and she is with M36 Coffee Roasters. Welcome to the show, Lisa. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for having me. How are you?
Fabulous. We got to meet through your sister.
That's pretty interesting. She called and told me when she met you at that conference you guys were at, and she was very excited. I was lucky.
So what's so interesting is the fact that, we all are in this like small world sometimes, right? It's a small world. And I was somebody said to me, they're like, oh, do you know that the speaker went to Michigan or is from Michigan? And I was like, oh yeah, go blue. And then she was telling me all about M36 and your coffee roasting company. Walk us through that, because my son obviously is going to Michigan, University of Michigan. He's studying aerospace engineering. So we got a chance to talk on the phone, and I was fascinated by your story. And by the way, your coffee smells incredible. I mean, it's delicious. It smells delicious. So tell us why you just started to become a coffee roaster.
Well, as many companies during COVID, a lot of small companies and large companies went out of business because they couldn't handle the downturn of the economy and no customers and stuff like that. So my husband and I worked for a coffee company, and they went out of business and closed, and we both worked there, and we decided to start our own. So we bought the roaster from them, and we started our own line of coffee called M36 Coffee Roasters. In Michigan, all the roads and highways look rows are like M something, M for Michigan, and we look on to M36. So that's how we started our roasting. And then about a year later, we opened a coffee house in Ann Arbor. So we serve the University of Michigan Ann Arbor community coffee every day.
Well, one of the things too that I loved about it is the fact that you're putting people to work, right? So tell
Yes.
us about that. Tell us about the community that you've built.
So when we were let go, there were about 300 people that were let go. It was a spread out Midwest chain. And when we started, one of our goals was to hire and employ people because so many people lost their jobs during that whole time. And it was really sad and shocking for everybody. And we, started with just he and I, and then we had some part-time people. And then when we opened the coffee shop, we ended up being able to hire around 30 to 40 people. And we have probably 5 or 6 people who worked with us before at the other company working with us now. And we've been open since 2021 at the coffee shop. And we opened our roasting business in 2020 during COVID. So it's pretty cool. It's very exciting for us to be able to employ people and give people a steady job. And being next to the university and in Ann Arbor with such a great clientele, a happy, positive group of people, it's very helpful. And it's just so enjoyable for both of us.
What makes a good cup of coffee? What is it that makes it better than something else?
Well, see, the thing for me is it's personal choice. I think that obviously fresh beans, how you grind it, process, all that stuff is very important. But to me, something you drink or put in your body has to be good to you. It doesn't have to be good to somebody else. It has to be good to you. It's personal. It's your thing. So,
Nice.
I mean, the fresher it is, the better, obviously. But I think that really you being able to choose what you want and get it, that's really important.
Yeah, it is lovely, and congratulations. And so what I like about it is the fact that it is this is a blend of organic coffee beans, right? So it's good, it's healthy, and it's 100%. So you know where these beans are coming from.
Right. Yep. Yeah, all of our stuff's organic, fair trade in our line, and we tried it. We buy from a women's cooperative for one of our coffees, and we just think that's a better way to go for the future.
Now, do you also do like flavorings? Like, what is the experience like when you actually get to come to your coffee shop? How would I get to engage?
Oh, okay. So our coffee shop, we're like most coffee shops, you can get pretty much anything in a coffee. We don't flavor our beans per se. Like we don't make a chocolate almond coffee bean because that's like when you put a flavor on a coffee bean that's not natural. We use Monin syrups to flavor it with cane sugar. And then we do a bourbon barrel coffee, which is natural. We put green coffee beans in bourbon barrels and add more bourbon, and rotate it for a couple months, and then roast it and let it sit. And it's actually a naturally bourbon coffee. And that's pretty cool.
It sounds very cool. Well, I thank you for joining us. Congratulations to you. Thank you for participating in our holiday stockings for hurricane relief. We really do truly appreciate that. You're a good brand, and I just wanted to shine a light on you. So M36.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you here, Lisa. Take care.
you.
Happy journeys. Bye-bye.
You too. Thanks.
This is Donna Drake. Happy journeys.
Take my hand, come with me, and we'll find better ways to be something much more.
Thanks for watching Live It Up. You can visit us at liveituptvshow.com.